another one.
This last one goes, I love my QA job, but concern is I've been working in QA world for 3 years, but a total of 7 years with IT experience. I had some experiences with business analysts, data analysts, and software development. Well, you get around. Like Tupac said, I get around. I didn't like them, and I ended up working at somewhere with a minimum wage if I didn't choose. I didn't like them, and I would end up working somewhere at a minimum wage if I didn't choose QA career path. Well, if you're living in California, that minimum wage is probably $25. Just throwing that out there. $25 minimum wage in California. Just saying. Just saying. What made me happy about QA is to send reports when I find defects and make improvements before production release. I'm very happy with my job and will continue growing up my skills. However, concern is that QA has low demand jobs. Or I guess is low in demand. This is really true. Of course, software developers have also a lot of job seekers, although they have higher demand jobs. But I will not be happy with software developer. So in fact, it is difficult to move out due to the low demand QA jobs in other states than my area. What do you think? Well, your grammar is not the best, but let's address it. Is QA low in demand? Well, that's a tricky one. Because here's a problem with QA. I think a healthy ratio of dev to QA is probably like 3 or 4 to 1. So 3 QAs, or not 3 or 4 devs to 1 QA person. That's the ratio I normally see. So that means as you're working in a sprint, the developers are working and they get, like, while the developers are working, you're getting everything ready for you to prepare the test, right? So by the time it's ready, you go straight into your test plan. I even write some automation tests before the development is done. So as soon as it's done, I can add in the little sprinkles on top and then run it. Like, we had an amazing automation stuff that we wrote this past sprint. But now the problem is, though, the first thing is there's a higher ratio of devs to QA. The other problem is, if you are not a stellar, you don't have to be stellar, but if you're not like really up there in QA, then they can outsource it, right? So like manual testing. So I see so many people, manual testing. I love manual testing, right? And I'm like, well, you know who loves manual testing as well? Outsourced companies. And that's why you see a lot of these manual testing jobs get sent overseas. Because like Mitch was talking about, those repetitive tasks, those menial tasks where you just click here, follow the test case, execute. Those can be outsourced. Now, the QA jobs that are in demand here are the ones who require a little bit more thought, require automation, require strategy, require closely collaborating with the developers. And those are going to be a little bit more, those are not even a lot more in demand here. And they will pay a good amount here as well. But you need to lift up those skills. Your automation game has to be awesome. Your critical thinking has to be very, very good. Your innovation has to be really, really good. If you were to see some of the automation stuff that I come up with, you would be like, what? How? Like, what made you even think of that? I don't know. See, like I said, like Amanda Seals, I'm gonna self-diagnose myself with ADHD, right? Self-diagnose, just like Amanda Seals, right? Not with autism, but with ADHD, I'm self-diagnosing. But using whatever it is to your advantage. So the way that my mind will like shift from here to here to here to here, I'm able to like connect different strategies on the spot. And I'll be like looking at something. I'm like, oh snap! I can use this right here and plug it in here, and then maneuver it that way. And now I have this whole different thing that I wasn't even thinking about. But that's just strategic, critical thinking, innovation. I'm always thinking about innovation on like how can we push the boundaries even further? I have on like what I'm pointing out over here, right? It's this whiteboard sticker that you put on the wall. And I'm looking at it now and it says, right? It says, I wrote this last year. My plan was to do in the mornings 3 morning shows. That's how I was planning on starting. And then I ended up starting with the live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I added Sunday. And then like the last thing I added was the morning shows. And now everything gets pieced together. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that you have to master your craft. And the more that you do, the better you're going to become and the more in demand you're going to be. It's not that QA has low demand roles. What has low demand is people's lack of effort and critical thinking. How can you make yourself so valuable that people are dying to have you work with them? That has always been my goal, my thought. How can I be so valuable that people are dying to work with me, dying to have my insights and stuff like that? You know, and that's how I work. I always want to be the one who's pioneering, who's leading the way. Like, how many times that there's been some technology, I'm like, I have 2. There was the code, what was it called? It used some AI thing that we tried last year. Like, oh, let's try this out, where it uses AI and stuff like that. And then I think there was another one as well. But then I was like, you know what? The whole Netflix safe test thing. And I said, let's try that one out. That one was a total disaster. But then when we heard about Amazon Q, the chatbot for businesses, we tried that out. Every time a new technology comes out, I'm like, oh, let's try it out. Oh, we want to do some API testing. What can I find? What can I find that it's going to give us to spin up some API? JSON server. And we just find new tools, Terraform, everything that we do is to help us get better. And that way, that knowledge, that skill base that you build, it is going to make you in demand. Who cares? Like, I couldn't care less if software engineering is in demand or not in demand, is QA in demand or not in demand. I want myself to be in demand by the way that I work, by my innovative skills, by my critical thinking, I want people to come after me. I don't want to be chasing anybody. And I want to have fun doing it. And that's why on Friday's episode, we're going to be talking about gamifying your coding game. Like, I gamify my learning experience. And we're going to dig into that article to see what they're talking about, how you can apply it. Really, really cool stuff, right? So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this question up, but make sure that you're in demand. Who cares about if QA is in demand, if software engineering is in demand, if DevOps is in demand? Make yourself in demand. Make yourself in demand.
Another one.
Messed up again. This is the one I want. And
if you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos. Enigmatic Joker.